Hello, everybody. We are back for episode 5 of the Funny Frontier Deep Dive. Today's a special one because the guest we have on today is one who's made an appearance before. So he knows the whereabouts of Funny Frontier and he knows what he's talking about. That's why he's back. And he doesn't just talk about things nonchalantly, he talks about it specifically because he knows trading inside out because he's an educator. He's 24 years old. He comes from Mumbai. Again, speaking to our global audience that we have and community we have with Funny Frontier from Dubai to Singapore to Malaysia, and today again we're in Mumbai. So without further ado, the man has made what $8,000 off a 100K account with Funny Frontier. His name is Kunal Pawar, and he's going to tell me if I pronounce that correctly because I haven't been doing a good job lately. But we're going to find out if I did that well. So without further ado, please welcome Mr. Kunal.
Hello, bro. Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good. So, my name is Kunal. I'm from Mumbai, India, and I'm a part of Funding Frontier because I recently got funded with Funding Frontier and I've made decent percentage gain on it. So, yeah,
Decent. I think you're being quite modest. Look at that. $8,000 on a 100K account. You're also going big because previous guys we've had on, they've made money, but they've worked with smaller accounts. So you clearly have the
right.
trust of the Funding Frontier team to be given a 100K account. But
Yep.
before we get into that, Kunal, we're going to start off with our trade maker, and that's our version of an icebreaker. So the question I'm going to ask you goes something like this. Okay. It's got a bit of a Mumbai twist on a New York trading theme. If the New York trading session had a Bollywood movie title, what would it be called and how would you star in the leading role?
Oh, damn. This is a tough one. You know why? Because I'm not so much into watching movies. But if I still have to say so, that if like New York session was related to a Bollywood movie, I would say Kal Ho Na Ho. Meaning, I don't know if there is going to be tomorrow because most people trade New York and they blow their accounts.
There you go. That's I think that's pretty much right on the Wall Street there. I think you've nailed it. And what kind of character would you play?
Maybe Shah Rukh Khan. That's
So
the
what is that?
character I
Is
would.
that a very
Yeah,
charming, charismatic, confident trader? You know?
yeah, you could say so because I know what I do on the charts.
Okay.
Even on my
And
worst
judging by
days,
your
I know.
hairstyle as well, I'm seeing there's a lot of confidence in the hair. So your strategy is going to be just as confident, eh?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Once you're into trading, you have to go through shit and hell, and then you will start losing hair like me, and then it will show up on your eyes, and that's how you judge the depth of the trader. So yeah, that's me.
Again, I think you're being modest because your hair is still fully intact. That's got nothing to do. I think your strategy is working. Right, Kunal,
Maybe
that
after
was
3 years, I'll still have to do a transplant, bro. Who knows?
there maybe we'll meet and discuss, have some trading talks in Turkey because I hear they have great
Sure,
hair implants there. But all right,
sure.
we're gonna move on there, Kunal. We're gonna go straight to you, who you are. You kind of given us a good introduction, but you started trading in 2018. You've been around for what 5 years that you've taught yourself the ins and outs. My question to you is: we know you're an educator too, but
Yep.
why did you get involved in trading? Why?
So the start was like this. I don't come from a family where business is really opened up because I did not have any backup, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
no one was there to support me in my journey. But as I was growing up, I always had this ambition that I had to do something greater than life, maybe. So then in my 11th standard, which is just after my school, when I was 15 years of age, I took science. So in India, after you pass on from your 10th grade, you have options. You can either choose science, you can choose arts or commerce. So I choose science because I wanted to become a merchant navy. Okay, that's the
Oh yeah.
ambition which I had since I was in my 8th grade. So I wanted to become a merchant navy, but then I got introduced to gambling on the side. So I was gambling,
Wow.
and
What kind of
based
gambles?
off,
What are you gambling on?
so it was lottery system in India. It's very it's a room where there is a lot of charts, and every 15 seconds there will be a numbers which will be coming. And if you have your lottery, and if you have those numbers in your lottery, and if you win, then you get claimed off of that. It's very messed up here, and I got
Yeah.
distracted with a lot of things when I was in my the 11th grade. And then what happened was that overall system failed, and then I hit a lot of depression. I mean, I was depressed, and then I was just searching for some things because, firstly, I dropped science, so I no
Mm-hmm.
longer can go merchant navy. Second is, now that I'm in commerce, the thought was that I cannot do a job, basic a 9 to 5 job. So I was left with a couple of options. Then I was scrolling on my phone one day, and then I saw a photo of someone making $300,000, right? And then I was like,
Yeah.
what is this thing now? I want to do this. And then I told my mom that I'm going to do this. So before, so from the time of quitting gambling till trading, I've done a couple of things like marketing, etc. But those things really did not resonate with me very well. And I went full fledged into the trading part. I got introduced to cryptos, and I got introduced to forex. Then I bought a couple of courses. I borrowed money from my mom's colleague, like $1,000 was 63,000 that time. I was 18 years of age,
So
and I
you,
was
you
also
were doing prop firm funding before you were even joining a firm there.
I was borrowing money, bro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyone who is new to trading, he thinks that, okay, I am good in studies, maybe, and I would also learn trading and maybe do the same way. And then, it's just what the person thinks. But it's very
Mm.
practical and very psychological, is what I figured out over the years. Like, it's not about just learning something. Everyone knows, everyone can teach. That's what's been happening in the influencing side on social media. Like, everyone's a profitable trader on Instagram, on YouTube,
Yeah.
but in reality, the things are very messed up. So that was me, bro. In when I was 18, I've made my younger self proud. I'm
So did you
24
land up,
now.
but did you finish school then, or did you, because of the gambling side of it, you dropped out?
So after I completed my 12th grade with commerce, then I went into bachelor's of management studies. I did my first year, and I was so the thing was that while I was doing my first year, I was so excited about trading because I've always been this excited child.
Mm.
And then I used to go for my examination hall. I used to just write the objective questions, and I used to not study, obviously. Uh, and because I just
You
wanted
wait,
to
wait.
trade.
You mean subjective questions? Like you just made? Did you just make up answers as you were answering?
No, object meaning the one line questions which are easy,
Yeah, yeah.
because obviously I don't know the brief ones because I did not study in the first place. I just used to
Okay.
write anything and come, because my phone used to be in the bag, because once you're in the examination hall, your phone must be in the bag, and in the bag there's a phone, and then on the phone there's the charts. So I
Yeah.
just used to go in like 15 minutes, watch my charts. I used to be like, okay, Euro USD is on this level, okay, fine. I mean, that was the thing. But with my learning aspect, I put a lot of efforts on the chart. When I started out trading, I did not even have a laptop of my own, not even a phone. I used to borrow my
Yeah.
mom's phone, and then laptop of my friend, and then I was going full in. At that time, I also shifted to a different place, so there was no
Hmm.
friends around. I purposely did not make friends because I knew that I have very few years to actually do something, or else just because of the family pressure, I'll have to do a job. So that was my worst nightmare when I was 18, 19. And then I went full into it. I started learning about things, 15 hours plus on charts. And yeah, that's how it went through. And then slowly, gradually over the years, I've made little progress. So yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
how
but
the
that's
started.
incredible. So you were chasing this larger than life sort of idea. You didn't want a standard.
Yeah,
It's clear you didn't want a normal life. You don't want a
yeah,
normal life. That's why you've
yeah,
taken. So the gambling sort of met this instant rush that you wanted to chase, and somehow you managed to find that knowledge and that rush in trading.
yeah.
Am I right?
In the same thing, yeah. And you know what? Since I've lost money in the gambling side too, maybe that's where my psychology built up as well. Who knows? You know.
Oh, 100%. I think that's a great resistance build. It's probably not something you would tell all your
Yeah,
students because you are an educator too, but it is
yeah.
probably some fine-tuned conditioning that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Right,
How to deal with those losses, because that is
right.
it's a tough loss.
Exactly. Because in the gambling side, the result used to come after every 15 minutes. And as soon as the 14th minute starts to the 15 minute, there used to be this rush of what is going to happen, what is going to happen. There used to be this fear of the unknown, that is it going to be my number which is going to come, and am I going to get claimed, or it's going to be a loss. So the same feeling is here in trading too in the initial years, but with the overall years, I've improved my psychology and I don't feel these things anymore.
Yeah, well, let's talk about not feeling that because now you're 24 years old and you are currently educating people to go down
Yep.
similar paths, not necessarily the gambling path, but the education path. And how did that happen for you?
The education part.
Yeah.
So what happened was that in 2020, I obviously was in debt. I had to clear it, and then I was running this Telegram channel where I just used to post my analysis, and then people were like, "How's your analysis so good? Can you teach us?" And I had a lot of requests incoming, like, "Could you teach us the way you trade, etc., etc." Meanwhile, I also started my Instagram page, so people were interested in learning, and I never thought about me teaching guys. But since everyone was interested now, I had like 5 to 10 guys who were interested. So that's how I started teaching. I started posting on Instagram, and then I gained a little bit of traction, and then I'm trying to do that thing full fledgedly right now.
Okay. So it's almost like you started with your small account. You
Yeah,
slowly started getting your little getting your profit targets, and now your community is growing day by
yeah,
day. If you haven't seen already, we've already shared where you can follow Kunal at Kunal on Forex over there. So if you do want to see what he's about, but before you get to that part of following him, let's talk about your trading strategies and let's dive straight into this, Kunal, because like I said, you are teaching this, and people
yep.
want to know how they can also make their $8,000 off a 100K account and manage it with that psychological pressure of knowing I've got so much money, um, I can still make money off of it, despite the fact that it's not my money.
Right. So I've went through a lot of strategies. Obviously, lucky are those guys who find their first mentors to be profitable. And I always say this: after you get profitable, that's when you will understand that all your mentors were non-profitable. So after you hit
I
profitability,
like it.
that's when you understand all your previous mentors who were not profitable. So
Yeah.
I've obviously tried and tested a lot of methods. I've went to the retail part, to the trend lines part, the support resistance, and all that sort. And in 2019, I jumped into SMC, and obviously that was a very new time for something like SMC to digest in me. So uh, I've also learned SMC from here, from there, and then I've also tried to backtest a lot of things which SMC had to offer. But then I was seeing that, okay, as in SMC there is the risk reward ratio which is very enticing, but
Hmm.
there is obviously the part which is of risk reward ratio, and there is win rate, right? So in smart money concepts, I got to know that the risk reward ratio can be huge. At times it could go even 1 is to 50, 1 is to 100 if you hold the whole position. But then at some parts you will have to sacrifice on your win rate sometimes. So through my self observation, I was obviously good with market structure. And then the only two things were important for me. One was market direction, second was entries. Even when I was doing retail, I was good at my directions. I used to know that, okay, it's going to be longs, it's going to be short, or I have to stay out. But I used to not really get well with the entry part. But learning SMC, learning a lot of different strategies and everything, I got to know about a lot of things, that how can I enter where I wanted to enter. Because previously I should be a breakout trader, like a trend line getting broken, I'm entering sells or buys. But with time, I got
Which, by
more
the way,
deep.
which kind of aligns to your initial start from a gambling perspective to, chasing
Yeah,
those daily wins and trying to get onto that, which can be quite stressful trying to chase all the time. So now you've moved to
exactly.
smart money concepts. And we were looking at the smart money concepts specifically for the layperson who's joining us for the first time. How would you go down breaking down the smart money concept for someone listening for the first time? Because you also tell us you trade with conviction and intuition. And these are probably principles that help you with that intuition and that conviction. Am I right?
Right. Right. So I always say this. Uh, so when I was new to trading, I'm still new. I mean, 6 years is not a lot of experience, because uh, I would class a trader to be like a very good trader if he's holding experience of maybe a decade or so. Because the market keeps on evolving, you have to go through a lot of market cycles to understand. Because
Mm.
the lucky traders, when they come to the industry, they being into a good market cycle and making money for like 3 months, and then the market turns out to be in a range and they don't know what to do. So uh, a well experienced trader will be a trader who has went through a lot of market cycles, like he has been through a lot of ranges where he's in a range for like 6 months, he's into trends for like 3 months. So the market cycle will always obviously keep on changing and evolving. But I always say this, that when I was new, I used to open a chart and find reasons to get into a trade. But when I open my charts right now, I I find reasons to not enter a trade.
Oh, okay. I like that because I think that's what everyone wants to do, right? Everyone wants to take some money, make some money. So they're looking for reasons to convince
Yeah,
themselves that this is
yeah,
going to be the right way to make money. Now
yeah.
you're going the opposite way. I like that.
Yeah, reverse psychology, so also one thing I've observed is that the best of the best setups in trading at times fail. So your edge is very less compared to the overall market. The market could trick you upside down, so you have to be very selective with the setups you're trying to take. So once you open a chart and apply this perspective of finding reasons to not take a setup, and once you don't find any reasons, that's the setup you
Hmm.
need to be taking, is my psychology right now. I've
I
figured
like this
out.
because we could apply this to relationship advice as well. You could look for the red flags as opposed to convincing yourself there are green flags before you're going taking someone out for a date. I like that.
Yeah, maybe, bro. Maybe I'd apply that in
So then
the
let's talk
aspect.
about those red flags. So how do you not convince yourself that this is I don't want to be putting my money down here? What do you look for?
Firstly, if it's in a big range, or else there is a lot of wicks happening in the range. Secondly, if there is no clear direction. Third is maybe the HTF is showing me something, but the lower time frame is still not convinced yet. The fourth could be maybe there is like news incoming in 5 hours. So I know if I take a setup right now, there is going to be low momentum. And at times I do apply correlation. So let's say, for example, DXY is showing me a buy, Euro USD is also showing me a buy. So maybe that could also be a reason to not take it. So I refine and I funnel it down to at least me coming to a position where I'm convinced that okay, there is a lot of confluences which are supporting my bias, and that's where I get interested in taking trades. Also, if I'm looking at 5 setups, and my watch list is big, there are few traders
Hmm.
who just observe maybe 2 3 pairs, but I'm down to observe maybe like 15 20 pairs, and I will only select maybe one setup, maybe max two, which are highly convincing and really good. But the downside about this part is that if you apply this advice, maybe you might just overtrade because you're seeing so many setups.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose that is a downside to it. But I mean, when I'm listening to you speak, so say from my perspective, if I've got to take away from you, I'm actually it's leaving me smiling because I'm going, yeah, you're right. It's to your point where despite the way you started chasing the initial rush and trying to look for the quick wins, what you're doing now is you're doing thorough analysis and research and you're putting them all down. And then after looking at everything, you're going to choose the one or two that you're definitely going to hedge that decision on, as
Right.
opposed to getting caught up. And if you are new, that's probably where the issue lies. Is if you
Yep.
have 4 or 5 of these on your watch list, you go invest in all 5, as opposed to having 20, comparing them all and choosing the one or two you want to back. And I think that's
Exactly.
very useful for anyone listening.
Exactly. Because when the trader is new and he has this uh, self image of being an intraday trader, he will be like,
Hmm.
okay, since I'm an intraday trader, I need to be trading all the time, or maybe at least find one setup, or maybe have a target. And is the also one reason that I don't have any targets? Let's say, for example, I have a target to make of 10% in a month. Okay. So I will put myself into a position where I have to make 10% a month. But what if the market condition, according to my system, doesn't allow me to make 10% a month? Doesn't give me the setups which can make me 10% a month?
Yeah.
So that is one side. The second side is that if I have to make 10%, but what if, according to my system, the market is willing to give me like 30? So I obviously cap myself, right? So that's the reason I've also made like the $8,000 which I made right now.
Hmm.
It's been done in like 7 days. And then my target was just to wait because I've hit that 10% mark and profit is 8%. So I was just waiting. But also, there will be weeks incoming where I might not even make 2%. There will be months where I'll just make like 5%. So it's a very cyclic. The market is very cyclic. Sometimes it will give you too much because maybe according to your system, the market is trying to hit all the criterias, and you're taking setups on top of setups, and there will
Yeah.
be weeks where you won't actually do good. So
So when you're looking at it, you're obviously setting your targets and you're looking at your stop loss sort of conditions that you want to apply. And then from there, once you've reached that, you don't get greedier beyond that. I mean, how do you then tell? Because one of the biggest issues, let's be honest, within trading
right,
and all the rest of it, FOMO is a thing, right? And that's probably the biggest thing you can get caught up into. You hear, oh,
right,
Kunal's put X amount, yeah, he's just bought this, he's done this, he's made X. I want to do it. I come in late because I've got that fear. Someone then comes, pulls underneath the market, takes a huge turn, and I don't, I lose. So how do we encourage people to avoid the FOMO and just be like, hey, just stick to what you know, as opposed to getting caught up in the hype?
So I've come at this point where I've I've tried a lot of things. I've dealt with a lot of psychological issues with trading, and then I've came to this conclusion, which works for me, is that
Mm-hmm.
I would trade to trade better and not to make money. So the money aspect is detached, because if I trade good, if I trade well, then money is the bonus. It's going to be, what happens is that when I'm analyzing a chart, and if I am new to trading, what will happen is that, let's say I'm trying to sell Euro USD. The first thought which will come in my mind is that, okay, if the target gets hit, how much money am I going to make? So if that is your internal dialogue, you're obviously in the wrong mindset. Whereas you need to apply maybe more convictions in your trades, and maybe take more confluences, like, okay, why is the reason I need to be selling Euro USD? So if the first thought in your mind is about making money, then you're in the wrong place. And that's the problem. So I had to detach myself through the financial aspect in trading, and I trade because I want to trade better. So that's my psychology right now.
Kunal, I think you are giving me plenty of nuggets of wisdom here, because when we just juxtapose your starting position and you saying, gambling's all about making money, and now you saying, no, no,
Exactly.
no, 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 we can't start off by saying we want to make money. We got to start off by saying we want to be a good trader, learn the tricks of the trade and what suits me, and then after that, I'll just stick to that, and the money will come. It's almost like becoming a professional athlete. I hear you also like
Right.
some sport in the background. You got to
Yeah.
practice every day before you can go play at the Cricket World Cup. Am I right?
Right. So, if I would also say this one thing, that if I never went to the gym, I would never become a trader, because I had to carry all those emotional burdens on my back. And
Mm-hmm.
when I'm chest pressing out there, that's when I used to feel that, okay, I'm getting lighter. So it obviously helped growing a strong psychology with the trading as well. And I'm at this point where even if I blow the account, I would feel down for like 30 minutes and maybe an hour, or maybe that day would be spoiled. But next day, I'll get up with a new energy. And that's the energy which working out has provided me. So you need to find your mojo, bro. Maybe for you, it could be taking your dog to a walk, or maybe, uh, I don't know. You need to find something where you're investing time and you're forgetting about time. You're
Yeah,
doing something, but the time isn't in the aspect, is something which I was trying to say. So when I used to
exactly.
work out, I used to feel a lot better, and it used to help me eradicate the feelings which I had previously, and then give me a new start. I'm just one workout away. Uh, I'm just one workout away from feeling better. Is my thing, bro.
I love
Like,
that. I love that because again, it comes down to the fact that it's the day to day, setting the routine and remaining disciplined and using the things that help you restore that energy level. Because if we do focus on the loss, and it doesn't matter what it be in trading or whatever it is, if we do focus on that, it's naturally
Mhm.
going to keep your energy levels down. So we need something to recharge ourselves with. And the gym is that thing. It helps you with discipline, which helps you with your trading because you're going to
Right.
make more disciplined decisions because you're also seeing gains on the at the
Yeah.
gym. So
Yeah.
so that's pretty awesome. I quite like that. I think from my side is when I'm looking at it again, and we're gonna compare it to your situation where we know discipline is very important, and then going well from a psychological perspective, you got to be hardened,
Right.
and this is one of the key elements. But what happens in a sense that you are naturally overwhelmed and you don't know where to begin with? Where do you start? If
Where
you
you
just want to
start.
start trading, where do you start? Who do you start with? You spoke about mentors, and I think that's something that tends to get overlooked. I mean, what is the shape and the form of a mentor? Is it someone that you're having a daily conversation with? Is it a friend? Is it an influencer on Instagram? What does that look like?
So, um, everyone's gonna face this, because pretending things on social media that I'm profitable just requires you a good editor, and you could make reels go viral, maybe sell your course, but in reality you're not even profitable, and the guys who are buying your course would never know about it. uh, the way you could refine and select your mentor is through someone having some proof of consistency. So maybe there is a lot of interviews out there on YouTube with a lot of funding companies, a lot of prop firms. So you obviously know that the guys who have made money know how to trade. So maybe if some guys are offering mentorship, maybe that could be the ultimate tick mark for someone to learn, because now they've just proven that they know how to trade. And That's how you could find your mentors, because it is very overwhelming. Because on social media, especially in India now, bro, after, so what happened in India is that firstly the lockdown came, so everyone's
Mm-hmm.
having this work from home attitude, and second is
Mm-hmm.
that there was a movie named Scam 1992, where
What?
this big, yeah, there's this
Yeah.
big
Okay.
trader who made a lot of money and showed his lifestyle. So young generation is obviously being influenced by that movie, and since that, uh, when I entered Forex, bro, no one on social media, especially being an Indian, was
Yeah.
in the Forex space. But right now, it's flooded, bro. It's just too much. It's just too much,
But
and
again,
it's
that's
because of it.
probably those are the guys that are chasing the instant success, the instant. And so
Yep.
again, it goes against to what you were saying. And I think in terms of again, so your mentorship and finding the times, the good thing about trading is being able to shape your life around it. You specifically trade in the New York Times session because that allows you to do other things. Correct.
Right. Right, because I've observed most of my good trades happen on you. So uh, it's just that you need to refine, you need to understand, like, okay, uh, why are you not profitable? You need to see where your losses are coming from. I used to see that, okay, my main losses are coming from the London session, but since I'm taking trades in the London session and I'm hitting a stop loss, even though I'm seeing a good setup in the New York happening, just because I'm down or maybe confident, not too confident, because I already took a loss. I have a mental proof of making a loss, so it does not give me the strength to take a trade again in the New York. So it's just about refining where your profits are coming from. Do that more. Where your losses are coming from, try to cut down. So is something I've applied, and yeah.
Sorry, Kunal. When you're explaining that, it's reminding me of a diet. You know, you got to eat more of this and less of that, and maybe you'll maintain your weight or pick up your weight or lose your weight. I like that. Kunal,
Exactly.
that's we're gonna move on to the rapid fire section of our show, and that is
Sure.
where I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, and you're gonna hit me with one word answers.
All right.
All right. You.
Sounds
So the
interesting.
first one, yeah, the first one I'm gonna ask is traded funded capital or personal capital.
Funded capital.
Second one, day trading or long term investing.
Day trading for me.
Biggest trading win.
$24,000.
Hey, not too bad, eh? Not too bad, Kunal. This is why, if you want to get follow Mr. Kunal, yeah, he's going to show you. He's going to tell you his ways. He's already done that. Most memorable trading loss.
It was not mine. It was my investors. They were $12,000.
I think that's worse.
It was
That's
it
right.
was three. It was no. It's just not one trade.
Yeah.
It's three. Just a minute, bro. Just a minute. So what happened is, to in 2019, I was very fortunate to get one of my friends who was also an investor, and as you can see, this is 12. This is 1.5%, 1.5%, 1.5%. The account size was $300,000, and that's cumulative of $12,000. And my psychology was like crazy during that time. I was not able to understand what is happening with me. So cumulative of 12,000 on that account, but
Hmm.
maybe 4.5K in a trade.
Amazing. That's why you journal now. Am I right, Kunal? You're looking back there. You're making some notes. You're making the improvements, and we're moving on there. All right.
Yep.
So your pre-market or after-hour trading.
Pre-market.
Which stock would you hold on to for 10 years?
No idea about the stock market, bro. Sorry.
Fine.
Amazon,
Best
maybe
financial.
Amazon. I don't know. Nvidia or Amazon. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Best financial advice you've ever received.
uh, 90% of your wealth is going to come from 10% of the things you do, and maybe you're better at those. It is something like, for me, it's always going to be trading. So after maybe 10 years, I'm invested in a lot of different things, but I know that trading
Mhm.
is going to generate more because I understand it well.
Awesome. Worst financial advice you've ever heard.
The same, bro. Putting down all your eggs in one basket.
Okay. All right. I know I asked you which stock would you hold, but instead, let me ask you this: which crypto or altcoin would you hold for 10 years?
Ethereum.
Ethereum.
Yep.
We could unpack that for many reasons. Surprised you're not going Solana or maybe something else, but fine. Ethereum, we can play around with Ethereum there. Um, One book every trader should read.
I've not read any books, but I think Market Wizard has a lot of examples about good traders and understanding the psychology. So I would say Market Wizards.
Cool. And then the future of trading, is it more human or more algorithmic?
Future of trading, hmm. More algorithmic.
All right, that's interesting. I think you're the first person we've interviewed who said that. Everyone says more human. I like that. You think different. This is why he's doing well, ladies and gentlemen. Kunal, we're going to talk about Funding Frontier. Why should people invest with Funding Frontier or take up the challenges with our prop firm here?
So the main problem right now, which is happening in this funding space, is that people are not receiving payouts. That's number one. So what happens is that when you're hustling out there for a month, and then you're not getting payout, it just feels very bad. So Funding Frontier, I've not experienced them not paying me out. The second is that in the phase one, that's very interesting. In the phase one, you just have to make 7.5%
Mm-hmm.
a percent target, and that's very relaxing, because even though that's just like 0.5% lesser than the competitive prop firms out there, it just gives that mental relief of just making 7.5%. That's good. And third is that we receive payouts in 14 days, and after that it's weekly. So that's my three main reasons why someone should choose Funding Frontier over any prop firms out there, because most of these guys not paying.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good point. And I just want to say, I did not prompt him to say that. That was very, I don't even think I could deliver that as well as you did there, Kunal. So, I mean, those are some fantastic reasons as to why you should be, taking on your challenges with Funding Frontier. I think we're going to move to the takeaway there, Kunal. What would you leave the audience with in terms of your piece of advice that they should do if they wanted to be traders, or if they should be, why they should trade with Funding Frontier, whatever that the takeaway is?
Yep. So I would give two takeaways. First would be someone new coming into trading and what sort of expectations they need to have. And secondly, I would talk about Funding Frontier as well. So a lot of new guys, especially the college going people, etc. Like some people also doing jobs, everyone wants to come into trading, but you need to understand that trading is one of the hardest ways to make easy money, and trading is a mental athleticism sort of a thing. So if you're not very well equipped with your own self, if you don't understand yourself better, no amount of mentorships, no amount of courses, no amount of funding companies, and just because prof firms are out there doesn't mean that your journey is going to be easy. You still have to become profitable, and that's going to take time. Whereas where back in the days where there were not there were no funding companies, people used to collect capital and maybe trade. But now it's so easy, we living in the best times possible. So that is something which is important. Also, I think that a trader has a personality, but most of the guys from this new generation are very soft. So try to be hard on yourself. Don't be willing to eat shit for like 3 5 years and be in your zone. Don't make friends. Like, be very hard on yourself. Even if all of your friends are going out partying every weekend, maybe just stay home, maybe back test. Like, accept the boring part, and admire the boring part more, because that's going to build your character. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, don't get distracted, because it's all psychological. Trading is very psychological. But if you're occupied somewhere else in your life and you're trying to also make progress, so you're going to make emotional decisions and irrational decisions. Be as clear as possible, because it's just about decision making, because everyone sees the same chart, but the reason everyone has a different output is because it's just mindset in the end. And you need to be a tough guy for you to actually become a profitable trader. There's a difference between being profitable and being profitable overall, and being profitable for a week. Making profit, anyone could do that. If someone sits in a trendy market cycle, he keeps on buying gold, he's going to make profits. But what about gold being in a range for maybe like 3 weeks? Are you going to resist and not trade, or you're going to blow your capital? So it's just a very different game altogether when it comes to trading. So yeah, these are my takeaways with the main point which I think about the expectation setting with new guys is very different. It just they feel that okay, I'm gonna start trading, I'm gonna make this. I was the same. I'm maybe still the same. I'm still delusional about trading. Like there was gonna be one day I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be making. I'm still. You have to be delusional, but in reality, you have to be very practical and realistic.
Yeah.
So
And I
that's
like
my
I like that combo. I like it because without the dream, you're not going to be
yeah
practical to walk towards the dream. And it's those practicality, all those practical
yeah
steps that help you achieve the dream. So that's very great advice there. If you weren't paying attention, like Kunal says, and this is probably the quote that we're going to have to end off with, you're going to have to eat shit on some days to make sure
yeah
you get through
yeah
there. So, roll up your sleeves, get ready to work hard, and you can do what Kunal's doing as well, which I think there's a secondary effect here, is that now that you are doing this on a day to day, you've got other ways that you've integrated trading into your life, which you're still benefiting from. So whether or not you're making money from a trade, you're now getting educational backing. So
yep.
that's how these things can sort of open doors for you. So Kunal, I just want to say from Funny Frontier, thank you very much. This has been a great chat. I've learned a lot from it. I hope everyone listening has done the same. From our side, we just want to say don't forget to join the community, join the Discord channels. You can follow Funding Frontier. And of course, if you're joining us for the first time, we want to say welcome. If you're joining us for the second time, we want to say we appreciate you. And if you're back for the third time, that is called obsessively shadowing, and we are here for it. So thank you for joining us, Kunal. You can say goodbye there.
Thank you, bro. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone, for watching this video. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.